Right now, somewhere over American skies, a bomber built when John F. Kennedy was president is preparing for a mission. The same aircraft that flew during the Cuban Missile Crisis is getting ready to defend our nation in 2060. That's not science fiction. The Air Force just signed a deal worth nearly $50 billion to make sure these Cold War legends outlive every pilot who's ever flown them. Some of these bombers will be 100 years old and still dropping ordnance. How is that even possible? What kind of upgrade could turn a 60-year-old plane into a next-generation weapon? The answer is going to blow your mind. Welcome to Jet Insight. The B-52 Stratofortress has been America's airborne backbone for 7 decades. When it was built, designers expected a 20-year service life. Instead, it's outlasted every bomber that was supposed to replace it. Now engineers are doing something unprecedented. They're not just maintaining these aircraft. They're transforming them into something the original designers never imagined. This is the story of how America's oldest bomber is becoming its newest. The bomber that refuses to die. The last B-52 rolled off the Boeing assembly line in 1962. Think about that for a second. These planes are older than the Vietnam War. They flew missions before we landed on the moon. The mechanics working on them today weren't even born when these bombers took their first flight. Yet every single day, 76 of these massive aircraft sit ready at Barksdale Air Force Base in Louisiana and Minot Air Force Base in North Dakota, prepared to launch at a moment's notice. Here's something most people don't know. The Air Force has tried to retire the B-52 multiple times. They built the supersonic B-1 Lancer to replace it. That didn't work. They developed the stealth B-2 Spirit to replace it. Still flying B-52s. They're now building the advanced B-21 Raider. And guess what? The B-52 will fly right alongside it. There's a reason Air Force crews call it the Buff. That stands for Big Ugly Fat. Well, let's just say the last word starts with an F. It's not the prettiest plane in the sky. It's not the fastest. It's not stealthy. But it does something no other bomber can do. It carries 70,000 pounds of weapons across 8,800 miles without refueling, costs less to operate than any modern alternative, and never stops working. Combat crews love this plane because it's proven. You know what you're getting. When B-52s show up, enemies know America means business. These bombers have flown combat missions in every major conflict since Vietnam. They dropped the first smart bombs. They launched cruise missiles in Desert Storm. They provided close air support in Afghanistan. Troops on the ground know that sound. When they hear 8 jet engines rumbling overhead, help has arrived. But here's the problem the Air Force faced. Those 8 engines? They're the original Pratt & Whitney TF-33 turbofans from the 1960s. Pratt & Whitney stopped making parts for them years ago. Maintainers are literally pulling engines off one B-52 to keep another flying. That's called cannibalization, and it's not sustainable. The supply chain for these engines is held together with duct tape and prayers. Air Force Global Strike Command officers admitted the engines are finding new and creative ways of braking. That's military speak for we're in trouble. Before we dive deeper, please take a second to like this video and subscribe. Over 98% of viewers watch without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it means a lot to us. The Air Force had a choice to make: retire the most versatile bomber in the fleet, or do something nobody's ever attempted. They chose option 2. What they're planning is so ambitious, it makes the original B-52 program look simple. The $48 billion question. December 2025, Boeing Defense Systems received a contract worth over $2 billion. That's just the down payment. The total program cost? $48.6 billion. That's billion with a B. This isn't maintenance. This is a complete transformation. When this program finishes, the Air Force will redesignate these aircraft as the B-52J. New variant, new capabilities, same legendary airframe. So what does $48 billion buy you? Let's start with the engines. Rolls-Royce won the contract to provide F-130 engines. These aren't military engines modified for civilian use. They're civilian engines being modified for military use. The same engine that powers the Gulfstream G650 business jet will power the B-52J. Each bomber gets 8 of them, replacing the TF-33s that have been spinning since the Kennedy administration. These engines passed their critical design review in December 2024. That means engineers confirmed the design works. Now they're in altitude testing at Arnold Engineering Development Complex in Tennessee. They're simulating every possible flight condition: high altitude, low altitude, crosswinds, emergency situations. One engine out, two engines out. The Air Force isn't taking chances. Here's what's brilliant about this choice. The F-130 is already in production. Gulfstream has been flying them for years. That means the supply chain exists. Parts are available. Mechanics can be trained. When a B-52J needs an engine replacement in 2050, they won't be scrounging through boneyards. They'll order from the same supply chain supporting civilian aircraft worldwide. If you agree that's smart planning, type proud in the comments below. But engines are just the beginning. The radar system is getting completely replaced. Out goes the old mechanically scanned array. In comes the AN/AC-188 bomber modernized radar system. This is an active electronically scanned array, the same technology in our newest fighters. It provides better navigation, better targeting, works in any weather, and can track multiple targets simultaneously. The cockpit is getting dragged into the 21st century. All those analog dials and gauges? Gone. Digital displays replace them. The communication systems are being upgraded to modern standards. No more copying down target coordinates by hand during flight. The new systems allow machine-to-machine data transfer, intelligence updates, new targeting information, map changes. Everything flows directly to the crew in real time. The weapons bay is getting the 1760 internal weapons bay upgrade. This increases weapons payload by 66% using a digital interface. The B-52J will carry 8 JDAM 2,000-pound bombs internally. It can carry AN-158B JASSM ER cruise missiles. It can carry ADM-160C decoy missiles. 2 B-52Js will carry more precision weapons than 3 current B-52s, flying into the future. Now here's where it gets really interesting. The Air Force is also upgrading the external hardpoints. New pylons can carry single weapons weighing up to 20,000 pounds. You know what weighs nearly 20,000 pounds? The JIBU-43B Massive Ordnance Air Blast Bomb. That's the largest conventional weapon in the American arsenal, the mother of all bombs. The B-52J might be able to carry 4 of them. Let's talk about what this means strategically. Right now, the Air Force operates 3 bomber types: the B-52H, the B-1B Lancer, the B-2A Spirit. That's 3 different maintenance programs, 3 different supply chains, 3 different training pipelines. It's expensive and complicated. By the 2030s, the plan changes completely. The B-1 and B-2 retire. They're worn out from decades of hard use. The Air Force transitions to a 2-bomber fleet, at least 100 B-21 Raiders for stealth penetration missions, and 76 B-52Js for everything else: standoff strikes, close air support, maritime patrol, strategic deterrence. The B-52J becomes the workhorse while the B-21 handles the specialized missions. This is the most sweeping revamp of America's bomber fleet in a generation. The last time the Air Force made changes this significant was the 1980s, when the B-1 entered service. But this time, instead of building new aircraft from scratch, they're transforming existing airframes into something better than new. Here's what makes this possible. The B-52's basic structure is incredibly overbuilt. Boeing designed these planes during an era when engineers didn't have computer modeling. They couldn't calculate stress loads down to the last decimal point. So they built everything stronger than necessary. Way stronger. That over-engineering is paying off 6 decades later. Every time a B-52 goes through depot maintenance at Tinker Air Force Base in Oklahoma, inspectors check for stress fractures and corrosion. They catch problems early. They fix them. That disciplined inspection program is why these airframes can keep flying. The structure is sound. The bones are good. Everything else can be upgraded. Colonel Scott Foreman, the B-52 system program manager at Tinker, confirmed the aircraft can last well into the 2050s, possibly to 2060, without major structural upgrades. That's not hope. That's engineering analysis based on decades of inspection data. The challenges ahead. But this program isn't without challenges. A recent Air Force audit found some concerning issues. The service hasn't been tracking spare parts requirements properly. They don't have a complete database of every component in the B-52. Some parts are getting harder to find. Manufacturers that supplied components in the 1960s don't exist anymore. This has led to increased cannibalization. Mechanics pull parts from one aircraft to fix another. That reduces the number of mission-ready bombers. It's like robbing Peter to pay Paul. Eventually, you run out of parts to steal. The audit made several recommendations. Complete a comprehensive list of every spare part. Identify current manufacturers. Track their production plans. Make sure the supply chain can support operations through 2060. The Air Force agreed with these recommendations, but implementation takes time. There's also the question of timeline. It takes between 220 and 260 days for a B-52 to go through depot maintenance. That's for routine work. Adding all these upgrades will extend that timeline. How much? The Air Force is still calculating. They're building a massive new hangar at Tinker that can house 4 B-52s simultaneously. That should help, but this is still going to be a years-long process. Boeing will do modification work in 4 locations: Oklahoma City, San Antonio, Seattle, Indianapolis. The work is expected to finish by May 2033. That's when the last B-52J should achieve initial operational capability. But the clock is ticking. Those TF-33 engines can't wait forever. Pratt & Whitney said they can't support maintenance beyond 2030. The Air Force needs to move fast. Why this matters? So why go through all this trouble? Why not just build new bombers? The answer comes down to capability and cost. Building a new bomber from scratch would cost astronomical amounts. The B-21 Raider program proves that. Each B-21 costs hundreds of millions of dollars. The Air Force wants at least 100 of them. That's a massive investment. The B-52 already exists. The airframes are paid for. The infrastructure is in place. The crews are trained. Upgrading them makes economic sense. But it's more than just money. The B-52 does things no other aircraft can do. Its combat radius of 8,800 miles means it can strike anywhere on Earth from bases in the continental United States. It can carry every weapon in the American arsenal: gravity bombs, cluster munitions, precision-guided missiles, joint direct attack munitions, nuclear weapons. The B-52 is the ultimate multi-role bomber. It can loiter over a battlefield for hours, providing on-call air support to ground troops. Fighter jets can't do that. They need to refuel constantly. The B-52 just keeps flying. During operations in Afghanistan, troops learned to love that rumble overhead. It meant firepower was available whenever they needed it. The plane's size is actually an advantage for certain missions. Those massive wings can carry weapons externally that won't fit in internal bays. The proposed 20,000-pound pylon upgrade opens up possibilities no other bomber has. When you need to deliver maximum ordnance to a target, the B-52J will be unmatched. And there's something else, something intangible, but real. The B-52 represents continuity. It connects today's Air Force with the service's history. Pilots whose grandfathers flew B-52s can fly the same aircraft type. That's rare in military aviation. It builds tradition. It creates institutional knowledge that spans generations. At around the 80% mark, it's worth mentioning that communities of military veterans and aviation enthusiasts follow these programs closely. They understand what the B-52 represents. It's not just machinery. It's a symbol of American air power that has defended freedom for 7 decades and will continue doing so for decades more. The bigger picture. This upgrade program represents a shift in military thinking. For decades, the Pentagon focused on replacing old systems with new ones. Sometimes that makes sense. But sometimes the old system works so well that upgrading it beats starting over. The B-52J program proves that smart upgrades can extend service life beyond anything originally planned. When Boeing delivered these bombers in 1961 and 1962, they expected 20 years of service. We're now planning for 100 years. That's 5 times the original design life. Think about what's changed since 1962. We've gone from vacuum tubes to microchips, from analog to digital, from mechanical systems to fly-by-wire. Yet the B-52's basic design still works. The 8-engine configuration provides redundancy. The high wing allows massive payload capacity. The landing gear can handle rough field operations. All those 1950s design decisions still make sense in 2025. Modern technology makes the B-52 better. Better engines improve efficiency and reliability. Better radar improves targeting. Better weapons increase effectiveness. But the fundamental concept remains sound. A large, subsonic, long-range bomber has a place in America's military strategy. The Air Force is betting $6 billion that this approach works. That's a serious commitment. But considering the alternative, building an entirely new bomber fleet, it's actually the economical choice. And it keeps 76 proven, reliable aircraft in service for our aircrews and our nation. Conclusion. The B-52 Stratofortress has served America through the Cold War, through regional conflicts, through the War on Terror, and now into a new era of great power competition. With these upgrades, it will serve into the 2060s. Pilots who aren't even born yet will fly these aircraft. That's the legacy the Air Force is preserving with the B-52J program. When you see one of these bombers overhead, remember what it represents. American engineering. American determination. American air power that spans generations. The upgrade isn't just about keeping old planes flying. It's about maintaining the capability to project power anywhere on Earth, anytime our nation needs it. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, hit that like button and subscribe to Jet Insight for more stories about the aircraft defending our freedom. We'll see you in the next one.